did text Pam, but...
I know. It's okay. Just give her a hug, all right?
I'll see you tomorrow at lunch.
I am looking forward to lunch.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for moments in comedy shows that totally broke us. Beware of spoilers.
You have to forgive yourself for everything that went down the other day.
You're so annoying.
Yeah.
Number 20, Jodys Death Mom.
Hey, Jody. Hey. This is my mom, Bonnie.
Hi.
We're gonna grab coffee with some girls from the meeting. Do you wanna come with us?
I can't, I got plans.
Amidst all the laughter, this comedy show tackled real issues of substance use disorder as Christy and her friends navigated life's ups and downs. In season 3, Jody joins the group and becomes a special part of it, only for tragedy to strike just as we started to care for her. A teenager trying to be clean, Jody was like a daughter to Christy. So, when she reveals that she's dating a freshly sober guy, the girls are understandably worried. Their concern proves all too real when Jody doesn't show up for Marjorie's wedding. Then, Christy receives a heart-shattering call about Jody's death from an overdose. Yeah, it's typical for mom to deal with heavy issues, but this was too much to bear.
Where's Jody?
She couldn't make it.
Oh, that's a shame. When you talk to her, give her my love.
Number 19, Matteos' Deportation, Superstore.
They know about you.
What?
They saw your picture. They know what you look like. We have to go now.
Okay, well, where do we go?
I don't know.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Like Mom, this sitcom hilariously brought sensitive topics to the forefront as it revolves around the everyday life of odd employees at a megastore. In one poignant episode, the issue of deportation takes the spotlight when ICE raids the store. At risk of being deported due to his undocumented status, Matteo tries to stay hidden while his co-workers scramble to keep him from getting caught. However, all their efforts prove fruitless, since ICE already knows what he looks like and eventually picks him up. The episode's ending, with Matteo gazing at his friends from the back of the van, left us devastated and worried we'd never see him again. Number 18, Blackadder faces reality. Blackadder.
Maybe the war's over. Maybe it's peace.
Oh, hurrah! The big knobs have got round the table and yanked the iron out of the fire. Thank God. We lived through it.
When an overly optimistic character reveals their deepest fear, you know things are about to get real. Set during World War I, Series 4 of this sitcom follows the scheming Captain Edmund Blackadder's efforts to escape the war. But, in the heartbreaking finale, he realizes there's no way out, no matter what he tries. The episode, which begins lightheartedly, with Blackadder and his men comically trying to stay alive, becomes darker as the reality of war sets in. At one point, the soldiers believe they've made it, only for Blackadder's grim revelation to crush their hope. Their final charge into battle is a real tearjerker, leaving us to assume the worst. No doubt, this is by far comedy's most hauntingly powerful moment. Number 17, Chet Hunter's Death, Boy Meets World.
Oh! Dad? Oh! What's Dad? What's going on? Dad? Dad?
Decades later, this death still hurts. Across its 7 seasons, this 90s sitcom beautifully captured the trials of growing up, with Sean Hunter facing more than a share of heartbreak. From his parents splitting to abandoning him, Sean's story was full of loss. Nothing hit harder than the death of his father, especially because of how it played out. Chet had an on and off presence in Sean's life. After he suffers a heart attack in one episode, they reconnect and settle their differences. Things look rather hopeful as father and son pour out their hearts, only for Chet to suffer another heart attack and die. He may not have been the best dad, but Sean didn't deserve another heartbreak.
We lost him. His heart wasn't strong enough.
Number 16, Brian's Death, Family Guy.
Ryan, look out!
Brian Griffin has always been an essential part of Family Guy, delighting audiences with his sophisticated humor, so it was a major shocker when he was struck and killed by a car during a game of street hockey. The show's non-stop gags crash to a halt as the family gathers in the emergency room, grieving as Brian offers them a final heart-rending message of love. Filled with pure sorrow, the show's rare descent into tragedy was unforgettable. Luckily, Brian was resurrected 2 episodes later when Stewie Griffin travels back in time to save him. Number 15, Charles's home life, Full House.
Look, thing is, my dad does hit me sometimes, but it's my own fault for ticking him off.
Introduced in the 6th season of this fun-packed show, this one-time character came along and broke our hearts with his sad reality. At first, Charles was just Stephanie's annoying classmate, but when he revealed the harsh truth about living with an abusive father, our hearts shattered. Even worse, Charles blames himself for his father's outbursts and makes Stephanie vow to keep his secret. However, when he doesn't show up for school the next day, she breaks her promise and tells Jesse. As a result, Charles is placed in a foster home for his safety. No child should ever suffer at the hands of the one person meant to love and protect them.
The Charles! Steph, you gotta swear to me. You can't tell anyone as long as you live. Ever. You got it, okay?
Number 14, saying goodbye to the apartment. Friends.
Do you realize that at one time or another, we all lived in this apartment? Oh, yeah, that's true.
I haven't.
When the long-running sitcom classic Friends left the air, there was little doubt that the finale would be emotional, and it sure didn't let us down. Moving on in their lives with different relationships and commitments, the 6 friends meet for one last time in the apartment where they shared so many memories. They all solemnly leave their keys, accompanied by one final shot of the now deserted apartment. It was a poignant end of an era for everyone who had followed the characters for so long.
Okay, should we get some coffee?
Sure. Where?
Number 13, Sophia breaks down. The Golden Girls.
Are you all right, Sophia? Why does everyone keep asking me that? I'm okay. I'm fine. I don't want to talk about it.
The poignant scene after Phil's death truly strikes an emotional chord due to the sensitive issues it lays out in the open. It begins with the ladies preparing to go to Phil's funeral, who had died while trying on a dress, a detail Sophia truly detests. Despite being her son, Sophia shows little emotion over his death, blaming Phil's wife Angela for both his cross-dressing and his death. As the episode unfolds, Sophia and Angela are forced to confront their longtime feud. When Sophia finally lets her guard down, we see the depth of her pain, hidden by her cold exterior. That raw moment she acknowledges her pain over losing Phil as Angela consoles her hits us all pretty hard.
I did love him. He was my son, my little boy.
Number 12, Death of Bill, News Radio.
You know that arrangement they had of roses that was shaped like a broken heart?
Yeah.
Was that supposed to be because Bill died of a heart attack? Or?
No, Matthew, that was me. I sat on it in the limo.
Phil Hartman was a true gem in this beloved show, and his role as the pompous radio anchor Bill McNeil was a cornerstone of its charm. Tragically, after season 4, Hartman was no longer part of the show following his gruesome death at the hands of his wife. So, when season 5 arrived, it left a painful void for both fans and cast, who had a hard time shooting the first scene without him. Despite the heartbreak, they delivered a touching episode, Bill Moves On, which pays homage to this tragic figure. Now, Hartman's last moments in news radio serves as a heartfelt reminder of not just the character, but the talented actor we lost too soon.
But it's just a TV show. None of us really died, right, gang? That's right.
Number 11, Ben Sullivan's death, Scrubs.
My point is that if I'm not here, people die.
If I'm not here, people die.
Oh, come on.
Thanks to Dr. Cox and others, Scrubs showed us the dark, vulnerable side of being a medical professional. Dr. Cox carried many burdens, but perhaps none as heavy as this one. Ben wasn't just a patient, he was a friend Cox believed he could have saved. Throughout the episode, My Screw Up, Ben follows Cox around, trying to convince him that his patient's death wasn't JD's fault, and urging him to attend the big event. The jolting reveal comes when we discover that Ben was the dead patient all along, and Cox's inability to let go was rooted in his own guilt. And the big event was Ben's funeral. For a comedy, Scrubs sure knows how to tug really hard at our heartstrings.
Where do you think we are?
Your name is the splinter inside me.
Number 10, Howard's mother's death, The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, you okay?
No. What's wrong? My mom died.
Though Mrs. Wolowitz was never shown fully on screen, she was an essential part of the show. With her booming voice and over-the-top personality, she added plenty of humor and heart. When she died in season 8, it wasn't just Howard who had hit like a ton of bricks, but everyone who had come to cherish her. The scene where Howard's friends, even Sheldon, rally around to offer support is both heartwarming and emotionally crushing. What makes it more painful is knowing that this death was written in because voice actor Carol Ann Susie had passed away. The series went on to honor her memory beautifully, but that didn't stop our hearts from feeling crushed again.
Mrs. Wolowitz, loving mother to all of us.
Number 9, Rebecca's attempt to end her life, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
You made me think that you loved me. You gave me hope when I had none. And now that hope is gone.
This CW show that follows Rebecca Bunch's chaotic life is a refreshing mix of music, comedy, and a deep dive into mental health. Rebecca's life isn't without its ups and downs, but it gets really dark when she decides to end it all. Feeling utterly hopeless and unwilling to move back to West Covina, Rebecca overdoses on her mother's medication while on air. For a moment, it feels like the end is near, but in one powerful scene, a barely conscious Rebecca looks up at the help button and it turns to hope, reigniting her will to live. If this doesn't leave you shaken, then what will? It's a moving reminder that even goofy shows can tactfully handle serious issues. Number 8, Mother Simpson Can't Stay, The Simpsons.
Well, there's my ride. The underground awaits.
At least this time I'm awake for your goodbye.
Homer Simpson is usually a whirlwind of emotions, but when he reunites with his mother only to lose her, we see a rare, tender side of him. Believing his mother was dead, Homer is stunned to find her alive. Their reunion is tragically brief, as her troubled past with Mr. Burns catches up with her. Their time together ends abruptly when Mr. Burns arrives to arrest Mother Simpson again. Thanks to an anonymous tip, Homer helps her escape, but it's a bittersweet moment as he has to watch her vanish from his life once more. That quiet moment of him staring at the stars speaks volumes about the pain of losing someone you love. Who knew Homer could make us cry? Number 7, attempted assault on Edith, All in the Family.
You got the door locked, Edith. Come on, I gotta get in there.
All right, tell him you're gonna be there in just a minute.
I'm gonna be there in just a minute. Come on, Edith, hurry up. I gotta get in the house for something there.
The Bunkers suffered their fair share of heartbreak, from losing a family friend in a mugging to Edith's heartbreaking death. Often unmentioned, however, is the attempted assault on Edith. On her 50th birthday, she's left alone at home while her family plans a surprise party next door. The perpetrator disguises himself as a police detective and secretly holds her captive, while her family calls and even visits briefly. Though Edith is eventually able to attack and escape the man, her emotional trauma afterward is highly powerful and remains haunting to this day.
It was awful. It was awful. I thought he was gonna kill me.
Number 6, Michael departs The Office. The Office.
You know what I think we should do? I think we should just save the goodbyes for tomorrow. At lunch.
Oh. Okay.
The UK's original version of The Office featured a rather sad moment with David Brent's layoff. The American adaptation followed suit with a tearjerker farewell when Scranton branch boss Michael Scott left the office for Colorado. Although this was not the series finale to the dismay of many critics. Deciding to secretly depart a day earlier than expected, Michael spends his workday giving each employee a funny, yet painful goodbye. Particularly moving are his farewells to Jim, filled with barely restrained tears, and his airport parting with Pam, complete with one last, "That's what she said."
He's gonna feel so good getting this thing off my chest.
Number 5, Paul's death, 8 simple rules.
You were
so jealous. Oh, please. I debuted at number 2 on the hot list.
Yeah, but she didn't have to do the things you did to get on it.
Lori!
Ah, Mom.
Gosh.
Mom?
My keys. Where are my keys?
Mom.
Oh, God.
Mom?
It's tough when a show meant to make us laugh ends up breaking our hearts, but sometimes it's inevitable. After John Ritter, who played Paul in 8 Simple Rules, passed away, the series leaned into grief to reflect the real-life loss. Ritter's sudden death occurred just as production for season 2 began, forcing the writers to kill his character off-screen. In the series, we're led to believe he collapsed and died in a grocery store, which is quite heartbreaking because it's an echo of Ritter's own death. The episode, Goodbye, where his family mourns him, is almost unbearable to watch. From that moment on, this feel-good series never felt the same again.
I really don't feel right about sleeping in your bed. You really should sleep here.
I can't, Mom. Can't even be in this room.
Number 4, Marshall loses his father. How I Met Your Mother.
Marshall, something's happened. Your father, he had a heart attack. He didn't make it.
Marshall and his father shared one of the most heartwarming father-son bonds in sitcom history, which made his dad's death utterly shattering. Worried about his potential infertility, Marshall is overjoyed to learn he and Lily can have kids. Eager to share the news, he calls his dad, but gets no response. Then, Lily arrives with the devastating news of his father's death. The pain cuts deep because Marshall had seen him earlier, never imagining it'd be their last time together. Then, Jason Segel's raw, unscripted reaction makes the scene even more heartbreaking. When Marshall listens to his father's voicemail during his funeral, it's impossible not to tear up. Truly, How I Met Your Mother isn't just comedy, it's life in all its beautiful, messy form.
My father's last words to me are, I love you.
Ooh, and let me know if you find my foot cream. The fungus thing is acting up again.
Number 3, Death of Colonel Blake, MASH.
It's all set. You're in charge of the store now. And stuff that whistle someplace.
This commanding officer was a big reason many tuned into the show, so it's quite understandable the anguish many felt over his death. After receiving his discharge papers, Colonel Blake looks ready for the happy ending he clearly deserves, but the show's creators weren't about to let him go without another gut-wrenching reminder of the unpredictability of war. So, instead of a joyful reunion with his family, we learn that Blake's plane was shot down, leaving no survivors. This turn of events leaves the characters and the audience reeling. Though we understand this happened because McLean Stevenson was leaving the show, it didn't soften the blow. It's just as devastating as watching Hawkeye break down over a horrible past mistake.
It was a baby! She smothered her own baby!
Number 2, Seymour's Fate Revealed, Futurama.
I'll never forget him, but he forgot me a long, long time ago.
As a young man accidentally frozen until the 31st century, Philip J. Fry has dealt with many touching discoveries from his past, including his brother's emotional tribute to him. One discovery that's not so much touching as it is brutally depressing is the fate of Fry's beloved dog, Seymour. After Fry finds the dog fossilized, he's presented with technology that allow him to clone Seymour. However, he declines, reasoning that he surely lived a full life after his cryogenic freeze. The audience, however, sees a gut-wrenching flashback reveal that shows Seymour waited for Fry outside a pizzeria for the rest of his life, 12 agonizingly long years.
And summers, I will wait for you.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Will's father leaves, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I'll call him from the road. Yeah, then why don't you do that?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Daddy-o! What's up?
While a box office superstar today, Will Smith first honed his dramatic acting chops in this soul-crushing episode of the sitcom that began his acting career. Trouble begins when Will's long-estranged father, Lou, played by Broadway veteran Ben Vereen, pays him a visit, giving Will hope for possible reconciliation. However, Lou just as quickly gets cold feet and hits the road. Will explodes in the resulting confrontation, perfectly mixing teenage anger, confusion, and sadness. After his angry outburst, Will reveals his true sadness, before collapsing into his uncle's arms, tenderly capping off this haunting betrayal of the sacred bond between father and son. Which of these moments touched or shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments section.
Dad,